Vinyl Tag 2023. If you like what you see, please subscribe. You're gonna have a chance to win what's in this box. Okay, so favorite new release of 2022 has to be Stick Up by Bobby Hutcherson. Somehow Bobby Hutcherson was off my radar. I've loved jazz for over 25 years. I've been collecting jazz records for quite a while, but until these reissues started to come out, I really didn't have a lot of knowledge on Bobby Hutcherson. This is a great record. It sounds great. Obviously, it gets the Tone Poet treatment, so it looks good, it sounds great. 2022 favorite new release. Stick Up, Bobby Hutcherson. Okay, so last band or solo artist I saw live. I have seen some live music since I saw this artist, but I don't have any vinyl by those artists. So I have to go with this. And I mean, any reason to talk about Prince is fine with me. I saw Prince in San Jose, California. It's been about probably 10 years now. It was an amazing, amazing show, and Prince is just amazing. He's as amazing live as I ever heard that he was. And this is Prince 1999. Been listening to this since it came out and since they were showing the videos of Little Red Corvette in 1999 on MTV. Still love this record, still love Prince. Prince 1999. So their first album was the best. This is a hard one for me because I feel like in general most bands improve over time. But if I have to pick one, I gotta go with Pearl Jam's 10. Such a great record. It's the first time we get to hear Eddie Vedder really. Despite the fact that I resisted grunge when it first came out, I wanted nothing to do with Nirvana or Pearl Jam or any of those bands because I was in love with the 80s and I felt like it was out with the old regime and in with the new. But over time, I was able to get over it, go back and listen to this record, and it is amazing. Pearl Jam's 10 is a 10 out of 10 for me, and I do feel like it's their best record. So hat trick, I'm supposed to show a vinyl, a CD, and a cassette tape. I don't own one single cassette tape or CD, so I can't do that. Strike one. Okay, so pick an album that starts and ends with the same letter. Okay, this one's easy. You have Grateful Dead's Oxo Moxoa. This is actually the first time I ever bought a record for myself with my own money, where I rode my bike miles to the local record store, and as a 10-year-old, dug through all the records down there and snatched up Oxo Moxoa to bring home and impress my mom. Hey, look what I got, a new Grateful Dead record. And of course, I was scrutinized heavily by the guy that was running the shop who wanted to know why I wasn't buying Led Zeppelin or Pink Floyd or something like that. But, you know, hey, this is what I knew at that time. So, Oxo Moxoa starts with an A, ends with an A. It's easy, it's a palindrome. I had to pick this one. So, someone born in the same year as you. So, I mean, I was born in 1972, and even despite the fact that that was a while ago, I don't collect a lot of newer vinyl. So I don't think I have vinyl from anyone that was born in 1972. Although, fun fact, I was born 5 days before Eminem, so that's gonna have to work. All right, most listened to album in 2022. And this is a hard one because I feel like I tend not to just listen to the same album over and over again. But if I had to pick one, this is probably the album I've listened to most in the last 20 years, and this is Zappa in New York. Love this record. This is such an amazing live album, and it's, for me, this is a desert island record. I would have to take this. If I could only take 10, this would have to be on that list. It's just filled with amazing music. It's such a great live show. It's Zappa in his prime, the band's in their prime, and this is the 3-album reissue that has a whole nother record of music on it, and it just kills. I love this record. If anything, this is the one I've listened to most in 2022. So most listened to artists in 22, and again, I think Zappa gets the nod on this one. I just have so many Zappa records in my collection, probably over 40. And he's just someone, when I get that itch where I need some Zappa, I can almost listen to nothing else during that time. And so I have to go with Zappa. I picked this record just because it's got this great depiction of Zappa on the front with that awesome Les Paul custom. And this is great, just guitar music, but I mean, there's just so much Zappa. You know, he's got such a variety of stuff you can listen to. His music and the bands that he puts together are always top notch. So I tend to listen to a lot of Zappa, and I think 2022 was no exception. So 2022 most listened to artist goes to Frank Zappa. Okay, so Australian artist or band. I struggled with this one too. I mean, although I've had Australian artists in my collection in the past, I couldn't find any in my current collection, so I get a strike too. A record people would be surprised that you purchased in 2022. I don't know if anyone I know cares, but I think it's one that I'm probably surprised that I bought in 2022. This is Welcome Plastics by Plastics. And this is a band that was nowhere on my radar until I watched an interview with Mark Mothersbaugh, lead singer from Devo, who mentioned them. And he says that he thought they were great, and that the talk was that they sounded like a cross between Devo and the B-52s. And I do think that's true. I think that they do sound like they have bits of the B-52s and they have bits of Devo in them, but I think they also have bits of a lot of other things from this time period. This is from 1980. So, I mean, Devo and the B-52s only had 1 or 2 albums out. I mean, they were very new also. And so, while these guys are definitely part of that new wave zeitgeist and what was going on during that time, you know, just because it's something that I never really listened to, and I don't think they really got a lot of airtime. So it kind of comes off like a novelty now, but hey, it's a fun listen. And so I gotta go with Plastics as a record that I'm surprised I bought in 2022. Okay, so name a band you're complete on. And I do feel like I'm complete on a few different bands, but most of them have very small catalogs. This band has a fair catalog, and while I'd say I'm as complete as I want to be, there's 2 of their regular issue records that I'm not a huge fan of, and so I just choose not to buy them and add them to my collection. But I have everything else, and that would be the Grateful Dead. For me, the Grateful Dead goes back my whole life. It's difficult for me to even critique them at all because they're just part of the background music to my life. From the day I was born, I'm convinced that I came home from the hospital after being born with Europe 72 playing on the record player because my parents played them all the time. And so I've listened to Grateful Dead music probably more than anything else in my life, just by virtue of the fact that during the 70s and early 80s, this is 90% of what was on our turntable at home. So I love them, they're nostalgic. I have as complete a catalog of their regular issue work as I want. This one is Still Your Face, only selected because of the iconic cover, but complete Grateful Dead. Great run of 3 albums. Again, this was a tough one, but for this one, I only own 3 of this artist's records, and they did all come out back to back to back, and I do feel like this is sort of a trilogy of records that are all amazing and all take me back to my early 80s youth, and that's Michael Jackson. And so I had to pick MJ's Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad. To me, an amazing run of 3 albums. There was a time during the early 80s where MJ was everything to me. I mean, I would watch every single video, I bought every record, I bought every magazine, I had my room was wallpapered with Michael Jackson posters. I would force my friends to do the Thriller dance with me at school. Love MJ, and even though Bad came out right after I sort of moved on to other things, I was in high school at that point. It's a record that, I mean, you've heard all the songs on this, and you just can't deny the fact that these 3 records are just packed with hits, and they're just amazing. So I gotta go with Michael Jackson. Okay, so we're on number 13, and I love this one. Any excuse to talk about 80s soundtracks. Show one of your favorites, has to be Tron. This is amazing music, an amazing film. I remember seeing this when it came out in the theaters, and like every other movie that I saw as a kid, from Raiders of the Lost Ark to Back to the Future to Star Wars, I came home and enacted every scene that I could remember in the backyard. My mom was dating a radio DJ at the time, and so lucky me, I would get records for Christmas and my birthday and just for whatever. And Tron is one of the records that I remember getting as a gift from him. And I mean, this is just cool music. You also get Journey, Only Solutions, so how can you go wrong? Love Tron. So my soundtrack from the 80s? Tron. Okay, so a sad one. We lost them in 2022, and my pick is Pharoah Sanders, who appears on this Alice Coltrane record, Ta the El Dowd. I just listened to this before I started making this video to refresh my memory of it, and this is just a beautiful record. This is a reissue that just came out in 2022. There's some amazing piano playing on here from Alice Coltrane. On the back, you get to hear some of her harp playing. There's awesome saxophone going on in this. This is a little bit on the free side, but I don't mind that. I love free jazz, and this is just an amazing record. So my pick for We Lost Them, Pharoah Sanders performing with Alice Coltrane. Okay, another sad one, disappointing purchase in 2022, and there's a few of them, but this is the most disappointing one. I was out of town, we hit up the record stores that were in the area, and someone had a huge catalog of Sun Ra, and so I go through the Sun Ra records, and well, there was a bunch in there that were budget issues that I'd never heard, and I thought, yeah, maybe I'll give them a chance. They were $13 each, and I got 4 of them, and these are the 4 records. And although these have some great music on them, and we have Atlantis, we have Interstellar Loways, just some great music here. Unfortunately, these cheap repressings are terrible sounding. There's no quality control on these, and they're unlistenable. So I haven't even opened 2 of them. A waste of money, stay away from these. But this is my most disappointing purchase of 2022. So non-vinyl purchase of 2022, I gotta go with Zappa again. This is The Big Note, and this is by Charles Ulrich. This is a really cool book. It breaks down in alphabetical order all of Frank Zappa's releases. It gives you a description of the record, it goes into some background, then it breaks down each of the songs on the record. It even highlights biographies of some of the artists that performed on the records. This is a really cool book. It's thick, fairly comprehensive. The Big Note, Frank Zappa. Okay, this is a fun one. You found a Grail. I feel like I found a couple of Grails in 2022, but this is one of the, and this is surprising also because this is not a band that was on my radar, but I was very excited to add this to my collection. And this is The Sounds from the Lion's Mouth. I learned about this from Omaha Introvert on YouTube. Thank you, she has a great channel. Go follow her, check out her content. It's always amazing. It covers a lot of 80s music, punk, post-punk, stuff like that, which I'm really into. And so this was a huge score. I found this online. It's not a cheap record, but this is an original UK pressing in just mint condition. And so for me, this is a holy grail. And this cover, the beautiful artwork on here, great music, great artwork, a holy grail, and also a diamond in the rough. So definitely check out The Sounds from the Lion's Den. Mouth. Okay, coming down to the last 3, 18. Space-themed album, sleeve, or song. All right, well, why don't we just go with Interstellar Low Waves and Atlantis from Sun Ra. Not these pressings though. Okay, show some VCLT or a present. There is one record that I actually have in my collection that I received when this was new. It must have been around 1989. I got this from my girlfriend at the time, and it is the B-52's Cosmic Thing. At the time, I was listening to a lot of new wave and 80s and stuff like that, and she thought, well, B-52s have a new record out, let me get this, and score, big time, thank you. VCLT, B-52's Cosmic Thing. Okay, number 20, show an album released in 1973, Led Zeppelin, and this is Houses of the Holy, released in 1973. Love this record. I feel like this record flies under the radar a little bit. I mean, it has Dancing Days on it. It's got a lot of great stuff on it. You hear a lot about Zeppelin 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is a great album, and it came out in 1973. This is my pick, Houses of the Holy, Led Zeppelin. Okay, so before I let you go, as promised, here is the record that I'm going to be giving away. 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Make sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment. Would love the support. And to show my appreciation, I'm going to be giving this away once I reach 1,000 subscribers. Oh, baby! Okay. This is Tone Poet, John Coltrane's Blue Train. This is the double disc release with the additional tracks on it. And I haven't even heard this. This is sealed, fresh out of the box, and ready to go to your doorstep. So definitely subscribe, have a chance to win this awesome Tone Poet record. Thanks for watching. I'm Jason. This has been your 2023 Vinyl Tag, and I'll see you next time.